Hi guys, just waiting for everyone to turn up this evening. I'm going to get a couple of games in I think this evening, one with an Imperial list and with my ISBs and Stormtroopers, which I was going to take to Nationals but didn't, ended up taking Soaring, and one with a Rebel Trooper list that I wanted to try out. I don't think it'll be that effective, but hopefully it'll be fun and give me an opportunity to try Obi-Wan out. Before I did that, I've got the new mats, a set of the 3 new maps that have come out by FFG. Unfortunately my local store, which I really rate, didn't manage to get these in. It's funny how the stock's been done, goodness knows how, but there's a couple of smaller stores seem to have got them and a lot of others haven't. So they weren't able to get a copy of these, but I did manage to get some online. I wanted to show you them. This is what I was previously using, which is from a guy, I think it's Ibrahim Shaf. Apologies if I pronounced that wrong, if anybody who knows him is listening. But a guy on the Imperial Assault forums, the official FFG forums, has been really helpful, and these have been brilliant. This is what we've been using for everything for the last year probably. I've had the Kuwait one, the Mos Eisley Cantina one, and then obviously the latest 3 that we've had printed. And these have been great. One of the problems you see straight away is that they do curl up. So you generally have to kind of turn them around and give them a good roll before you use them each time. So just roll that up to try and have it out. So you normally do that for a couple of minutes, but I only want to give you a quick show of them this evening. So just switch that around. So in terms of quality, this is great. It's got the 2 missions that you need for the map there. So normally we just dice off for the mission and then play one of the 2. Once we've diced for the map or whatever, and then we set it out according to the stuff here. You've got the deployment zones marked on it. The only thing that it doesn't have is the tiles marked out, which we did have a couple of issues with Set a Trap. When that came out, people wanted to use that, and we didn't have the tiles, so we had to refer to the skirmish sheets, which wasn't really a problem, but is a little bit of a frustration. But obviously it looks great. It's got the information, any information that you need on it. Dead easy, pull it out and play, and you can play on all 3 different maps in a night without having to do 3 lots of jigsaw puzzles to do it, which was fantastic. I'll move that out of the way for a minute, but I might bring it back in a second for a comparison. This is the new FFG ones. They're not cheap. These were £24 each. $25 I think in the US, so not that much difference at the moment, the exchange rate. Initially I was a little bit disappointed with the images themselves, but you know, it's on this mousepad material. It's not going to be as easy to print on as the vinyl. I guess you'll lose, you know, the detail isn't quite as crisp on it. However, when I went back and compared it to the maps here, actually the colours quite nice and bright on it. You get the nice on this map, it's, I think that's Fensignus and the Stormtroopers, and each map's got different ones, and it's got everything that you need. I'm not sure why the grid needs to be quite as marked out on this. You'll find that compared to the ones that were done here, there's quite a difference there. I guess it's a bit more obvious here, but just from a aesthetic point of view, I think I prefer this. And the deployment zones are clearly marked on both. What this has that this doesn't is you can see all of the tiles marked out on it, which is really handy for that playability. Probably not a big deal now that people don't necessarily use Set a Trap, but there are other cards that interact with it. You know, there's one that says count as having 1 fewer on a tile. This is difficult to tell what a tile is unless you know it back to front. This is really easy, so you've got that advantage. Additionally, you see the colour and the difference in the quality. A bit sharper image on this, I'd say, and I'm certainly not an expert, but the colours on this are much nicer. So I'd say colours on this are great, and some of the detail, like in the pools there, is probably a little bit nicer in terms of the colour, but I think the detail, the crispness of the print, probably just because of the nature of the material, I think is better on this. So both are great. These will be cheap, but you can't use them in an official tournament. So something like if you go into nationals, we found that we couldn't use these, we had to use the tiles. Absolutely fine, I get that, but now with these, I would much rather get these out at nationals than have to pull out the tiles and things. So yeah, so that's the training ground one. I'll flip through each of them briefly so that you can show them. I will see if there's any details. The other thing that you do get with these is you get 2 copies of, well, you get a copy of each of the 2 skirmish cards for that map. Obviously, if you've got the associated packs anyway, you get these. So I've it's 2 copies of them all now, obviously, or 3 or 4, depending on how many you've bought. But yeah, so that's the training ground map. It's quite a thin, I think it's 5mm mouse mat material, but it, you know, lays out and folds. I don't think I'd be particularly concerned about doing that and keeping it like that for any length of time, but I wouldn't necessarily want to, so I'm going to try and keep mine rolled out, just like that, chuck more in, it goes like that. So that's the training ground one. Newest one, Coruscant landfill, obviously. Really nice. I like this picture of Biv and IG88. Again, colours are really nice. I'll match it up to this one. I can get the right way around. Which way are we? So that. Oops, throw my dice all over the place. So colours are great. Look really nice. Looking at them next to each other, you don't get the shine off the surface on this as well. So hopefully for recording, this will come across better on the camera than this will. I do like the colours. This is growing on me. When I opened these at the club on Wednesday night, I was a little bit disappointed, to be honest, for the price that they were. I said I was 50-50 on Twitter, but it's growing on me, and I do quite like this now. I definitely prefer the mini map that Ib's done as opposed to this one, but meh, personal preference, I suppose. And I like having them written out on here, but I get having the cards. I think it would be handy in a way, you know, if we want to play one of these missions, we shuffle them up and pull a card out, and then we can play any of the 3 maps. So that's that one. Let's get rid of that one as well. My OCD's telling me I haven't done those the same way, so I'll fold it up this way. Hopefully that's right. And this is the last one, Iranian Warzone. Or the middle one, probably, in terms of release. So that's like that. There seems to be a slight difference in the size in these. I'm not 100% on that, but the squares look slightly larger on this than they do here. Maybe wrong there. It does seem to take up a similar space both that way and that way. But yeah, maybe a little bit. Again, I would say generally detail seems to be a little bit crisper on these, and the colours are better on those maps. So that's it really. Again, prefer the printed copies that we've done from Ibrahim than these versions, but personal preference. And these pitches are always nice, and it's nice to play on, and it should be great to roll dice on, as opposed to on this. No, sounds nicer. And you've got some space for your cards there. I mean, these aren't the right deployment cards, but you should be able to, both players should be able to put out the cards on the slides, which will look nice. Yeah, that's that. Just wanted to give you a quick show of those guys. Hopefully Chris is going to arrive in a few minutes, and we're going to get our first games on these. So I'm hoping to get 2 games up this evening. Like I say, one against Chris and one against Dave. Some decent quality opposition. Chris finished 19th at UK Nationals, and then Dave finished 6th, so top 8. Obviously myself and Craig, who's another guy that I play regularly, but we haven't got a game with up on the channel yet. Hoping to get one tomorrow. He came 6th, so the 3 of us made the top 8, so quite chuffed with that really. But yeah, hopefully shows that we get some sort of reasonable levels of competition to show you on the channel. So right, okay, thanks guys, that's the end of that.